Hi, I am Sarah of Sarah Wing Intuitive Art, and hello. Um, how are you during this very interesting astrological time, interesting time that we find ourselves in? I wanted to comment earlier, but Mercury retrograde is interesting, and I had to do a lot of restarts. But I'm Sarah of Sarah Wing Intuitive Arts. You can find my art on Instagram at Sarah Wing Intuitive Arts. You can find my art on my website at sarahwingintuitivearts.com. And you can find me here on my YouTube channel. So I want to come in today and talk about empathic communication, being an empath. I have a couple decks with me today. I have the Nicoletta Cecily Tarot deck, and I have the Animal Tarot deck, and Bag of Charms. And I'm thinking I'm just going to have this conversation and to help guide and enhance and widen an offering that I'm sharing. I'll be using these tools. Whew. Wow. I want to really speak as an empath since we're in just astrologically some really wild times, and it's stirring in and stirring up a lot of things for everyone. So I thought, let's talk about communication. Let's talk about gentleness. Let's bring in this idea that gentleness is okay. Yeah, so I've got, I just cracked this open. I love these drinks. I love them so much. Feel, it's so good. This is Starfruit Citrus. It's got some L-theanine in it, which I love because it's very relaxing to me. And I just enjoy it a lot, so I'll be sipping that. And I've pulled out a couple, I pulled out some jewelry. It kind of makes me feel like a little bit of a warrior, the way I put them on. But we've got some lovely ruby and kyanite. I always think like follow your bliss. And some of these beads here are Czech. I am not Czech, but I am Slavic. So just bringing in the gold energy, bringing in silver energy, and bringing in the energy that I associate with these. Perhaps you have different associations with kyanite or ruby or these different metals. And feeling a little bit like a warrior, I thought of warrior princess, Xena, and I grabbed this ring, and in my mind, this was Gabrielle. Anybody? Cool. So this is amber, which also makes me think of my cousin, Amber. So I'm going to take a sip of this and then talk about empathic communication. All right. So I'm actually going to start with, a little bag of charms. I'm going to start with a charm to kind of get my mind a little pulled back in the abstract. Okay. Well, I mean, I kind of figured. So, all right. Here we had this cute little frog that came out. Hello. And this weight. So what this makes me think of is this little frog. I mean, it makes me think of the old fairy tales around frogs, right? So frog prince, kissing a lot of frogs. And so it kind of makes me think of romantic relationship, and then this makes me think of putting in that hard work, right? A lot of work to it, right? Um, putting in that time. Okay, so it's bringing that forward for me. Um, so let's talk about communication. As an empath, when you are in conversation with someone uh, who is not empathic or highly sensitive, there's so much going on that the other person is not going to be aware of or experience. We are born awake in this world. Um, we are born awake. We are born with this capacity to love. Like loving is like breathing to us. You know, it's a highly perfected skill for us. It's something that we excel at. Um, so we're anchoring the light. We're in a room. We might be somebody who easily clears, is clearing energy in a room. Um, and and these are wonderful things. These are wonderful qualities. These are great superpowers, and we can be that kind of light, right? That light. And when we're this glowing light, we can attract all kinds of different um, energies that match in different ways. So, not necessarily, and more likely than not, when we're communicating with other people, when we're meeting people in our lives, we aren't necessarily talking to, interacting with, and meeting empathic people. So we might be interacting with people who um, are experiencing life differently, who are experiencing senses differently. Um, you you might know other people who um, have sensitivities or have a certain level of awareness, um, but you can't quite explain your awareness to them to any kind of level of satisfaction. There's maybe there's someone in your life who is kind of this justice warrior, somebody who you know um, there's always a cause to fight for or a protest, um, a protest to go to, and if somebody if this is part of their life path and they're what they're called to do is to engage in this way, this can be someone who still needs a level of conflict to work their shadow out with. And if you hear this and you think, well, yeah, we all need something to rally against, to rail against this conflict, to push against. Um, I would say, as an empath, I don't. Um, as an empath, that's it's not the necessary thing to hinge or unhinge and integrate how we do shadow work. But it can be difficult when we're communicating with someone who isn't sensing um, different dimensions, who isn't sensing feelings of the other person or objects or the room or whatever it might be. It can be a very difficult thing for someone to wrap their head around or to comprehend, which is fine. It's just being at a different level of consciousness. And if you are an empath that finds that you've been, you think, well, I feel like I'm an empath. I'm a highly sensitive person, but I'm always in conflict with other people. Um, that's that's not the craziest thing, but do you need the conflict? Do you feel that it elevates? Do you feel that you are at the end of it? Are you a person who walks away, and eventually you're processing and coming to a greater awareness or level of consciousness, or do you find that you're just taking on um, unprocessed pains um, of other people that you then have to spend time clearing out of your energy field? Is it a learning experience, um, primarily where you don't feel like you're walking away wounded in conflict, which could be the case when you are in a state of conflict with someone? You do have a great opportunity to advocate for yourself, to remind yourself that you have a right to be seen and heard. Um, but outside of that, just engaging in conflict. And again, some people really need it. Some people need all different kinds of conflict to really help process and integrate their shadow. But for empathic, energetically very sensitive people, it usually hits us as toxicity. And it's something that we need to work out of our energy field. And like I said, the one positive thing about that is it does give us an opportunity to advocate for ourselves. Um, the the downside being there's advocating and then there's expectation. So I recently went through a conflict of communication that was quite jarring for me, and um, uh, just very unexpectedly, the person projected their unprocessed pain onto me, onto my body, and being this open, this person open in communication to another, um, it is taking that painful hit. It is taking that unprocessed pain. And the one thing that I was able to do to speak to um, was to advocate for myself. The expectation, though, of awareness is what I also wanted. But if you are someone who is getting in conflict in conversation with people, and there's just this sense of it keeps going back and forth, and you know, you feel like as soon as the conflict came out, they shut down, they go into a state of righteousness. Um, their their knowingness is larger than it's Mercury retrograde. Their knowingness is larger than um, their knowingness is this is how it is. I know I have this knowingness to be true, in a state of kind of arrogance that the conversation is just hitting a wall. Um, and suddenly the arrogance seems to be trying to dance around or become larger than the unprocessed pain that you just felt enter you in this conversation. Um, Unfortunately, and as much as I need to be reminded of this, or you need to be reminded of this, or the expectation for a greater awareness, it's not necessarily ever going to be possible. It's a different kind of awareness, a different kind of consciousness. And when people shut down, when you feel someone, see someone shut down, um, it can really be jarring. And if you're empathic, highly sensitive, and like loving is like breathing, and you want to you want this, you go, oh, where'd the harmony go? Trying to find the harmony. Um, it's things can switch from ally to almost enemy. And when that feeling hits you, when someone's unprocessed pain hits you, when someone's deep fear hits you, and you turn into from their ally to their enemy, the only promise that you can guarantee is that you can promise to advocate for yourself. You can promise to do that. You can never make yourself a promise that there will be any kind of responsibility taken. There will be any kind of apology made. Unfortunately, that's just not. That's not a guarantee. That's not a promise that we can expect. And again, this may sound like some obvious thing to say, but as we interact with people and we learn and we grow, we're going to come across situations that really do strike us, and how we engage, what we engage with, how well we can identify when somebody is open and closed, and then understand it's not our job, let alone a possibility that that person will necessarily open again. It's just something that I think is a really good reminder. Sensitive souls, empathic people, really what feeds us is gentleness, being gentle. If anyone has ever told you or told someone you know, or if you told someone you know, just, the idea of slowing down and it about kill them, for us, slowing down, not forever, but just slowing down in different ways and being gentle with ourselves and respecting the gentle nature that we have, fast forwards our life in so many different ways. And I'm not excluding externally, but there's so many different ways that we feel and we grow and we learn and we recognize. And if you just think of being gentle with yourself, feeling gentleness on the inside versus feeling attacked, feeling like somebody's lashing out at you, and that kind of like electric shock feeling. I've never wanted to engage in that for myself and my well-being. I know in the past I've thought I need to engage in the exact high level of conflict with someone because I'm going to help them get out of it. I'm sure there was some kind of, I'm just going to hang in here for as long as it takes. And usually as long as it takes is until the next time there's another bout of conflict. Just me? Probably not. I'm going to go ahead and draw one of these cards. How is this retrograde going for you? Whew. Okay. So I got the King of Spring. Okay. Inspiring, dramatic, ambitious, and wise. Katana Lion. Now is your moment to step into a leadership role. Don't back away from the spotlight, as your plans will be successful as long as you stay focused upon the big picture. So I think this is a great reminder as we're discussing communication that even if you feel like you're a more sensitive person or you felt that it's hard to navigate in the world, you might have fears of how the world treats you, whether it's subjecting you to cruelty in, or subjecting you to the neediness of others. But this card is just, I'm seeing this as, you know, here we go. Here is this gentle but potent, wise communicator, right? So when the lion roars, it's like it's heard throughout. It's heard throughout the land, right? But then we see, you know, the conversation can be with anyone, right? We can communicate. We have somebody with a song, right? So we have this bird who can sing and fly in the air, and then we have the animal who can roar and experience the earth, and the two are in gentle communication, okay, maybe even psychic communication, but this is an ability that you have. This is something that is worth exploring. Your communication on gentleness, on these subtle psychic things, is important to explore. And it feels like the way that everyone is positioned, you know, even though we have two very different statures and two very different kinds of communication, there is a peacefulness here. There is equanimity. Is that what I mean to say? Maybe. But there is a gentleness here. So you can absolutely, you know, you can communicate, and we do communicate with people on all different levels of awareness and consciousness every day. It's just part of being a human being. I was speaking to some of the conflict, but there's absolutely, you know, plenty of times that we navigate the world and we don't feel in conflict. There is an ease of communication. There is, you know, just speaking with our light, our little halo, just speaking our light, our truth is enough to translate into all of these different styles of communication, is enough for people to flock to us, literally fly to us, and be able to digest and understand, and then fly away those seeds, bird, of planted kind of light seeds planted in the communication, and helping our ability to help others kind of take that and put it into their own personal flight. And I just like this because in a lot of ways, being empathic and highly sensitive, our perspective is, we're a lot of times it's as above, so below, and we've got one hand, in that, you know, we're spiritually just divining everything, but we're also on the ground here, and I'm just noticing that there too. Okay, I do want to say that, actually, no, I'm gonna draw another card, and I'm gonna use the Nicoletta Sassolidera. This always makes me think of like red Christmas berries. It makes me think of this bush with red berries, where it's outside of where I was growing up. Little berry bush. Okay, so we're getting a little more into the flow. Okay. And the more we kind of integrate and we're in the world and we're having a clear understanding of the need to advocate for ourselves because there is such a large need for us in the world to be present, to bring our light. So just be way showers to tell others it's okay. It's totally okay. It's actually okay. And softening, the more you advocate, the more it softens that. It's going to soften the level of ability of others to get in and do any kind of attempts at undermining or abuse or psychic attack. Because absolutely, no one, it's not okay in any way, in any way, for anyone to put their unprocessed pain on you. It's absolutely not okay. Absolutely not okay. It's not yours to take on. You can do nothing about it. So their unprocessed pain is their path. That's their path to figure out. And I know it can be very jarring and unsettling, and cruel when people do that. But it's absolutely not yours. So just in case you're in a place where you're trying to make things right with someone, or you feel like you have to abide by how they're feeling at the cost of abusive actions, absolutely not. You can't afford that. You literally cannot afford it. Your body cannot afford it. You do not have to hold that for them, regardless of if they believe you do or not. And literally, if somebody's projecting unprocessed pain or fear onto your body, you know what? I am in that lovely place right now where I'm just going to say, fuck that. That is such fucking bullshit, by the way. We're not here as energetically sensitive souls to just and only pet kittens and heal with our light. That's part of it. But, we're not here to be walked over and stomped on because we can take it. So if you're also in a place of, but I can handle it. Yeah, I know, we all can. We all can. We feel the depths of the ocean. I get it. It doesn't mean we need to be submerged there. That's not healthy. There's no need for it. It helps absolutely no one. So, interesting. I'm talking and I pulled this card. Check it out. Okay. So what am I seeing? I'm going to read the really short thing from the book, but I want to read the card too. Okay, so I'm kind of getting this sense of, right. So we're feeding this little snake, right? We're feeding this. And obviously something has gone very wrong. And what this little guy wants to be fed, I'm thinking, is more feeding off this person as we're kind of vibing on this subject. So that's what I'm kind of getting. Is like, I came up here, I climbed this with you. I came here, I want to feed you. Something goes horribly wrong. And the creature turns into the creature goes from maybe the ally up the hill to here's the ally and then suddenly the enemy. And which again, maybe they were communicating fine and then it switches and you have like this nurturing I don't know, these are apples or pomegranates, take it whatever you like. Um, maybe red with the root chakra and how they're coming out here. Is just kind of pouring out. And here's this snake who's like, uh, they're clearly not allies anymore. And it seems like they're freaking the fuck out. Okay. They're upset, they're fearful. And they don't want none of that. I think they're coming for blood now. Yeah. So, for me, I experience life. Who doesn't, Sarah? I know. But as an empath and as a sensitive person, I experience life. And just like I don't have to believe in astrology, I experience astrology. I can feel certain things and then look at my stars, look at the general astrology, personal astrology, and go, oh, of course. I feel into other people, right? I have a certain sense, all these extrasensory things. It's very natural and evolving state for me. And you can be in conversation with somebody maybe where there are these, again, sensitivities, or they're invested in such states, right? But when things shift, maybe you're with somebody who's very open, you're in a dialogue with somebody very open, and suddenly it just shifts. They shut down. There's a state of fear. You just feel that hit of fear. And it just it looks like that. Right? And then it just turns into that. Maybe I recorded this too late. Oh well. But it just looks like that. Fear is a very interesting thing. Fear is very interesting. So there's fear from like unprocessed pain, right? There's fear from our past, fear from the fear of being hurt through repetition of something, unprocessed pain. There's kind of different levels of fear. So you can have that personalized fear, like beyond processed pain, and it can get more and more dangerous as if you the more you project out. So if you unprocessed pain, somebody's projecting it onto you. Sucks. Screw that. Advocate for yourself. Say what you need to say. You don't need to defend yourself. Okay. There's no need to defend yourself. So they're projecting onto you. They project on you, they project onto your body. They could project it onto a demographic of society. And there's a lot of that. That's, like racism, homophobia, misogyny. There's, whole belief systems that people project their unprocessed pain onto. They put the fear onto the bodies of other people, thinking that if they don't conform and behave with their other, then they can be a threat to them. They are the threat. They remove themselves from responsibility and everyone else becomes a threat. So those kind of like extreme views. And when it reaches a level like that, so if you're around somebody that does that projects that level of fear, it's no longer about unprocessed pain and experience. It's about something much. It's now been categorized in something so that just projects more of that image of helplessness onto the person. Um, they're going to be more shut down, more defensive, feeling more helpless. They'll feel at this point, it's not even a personal experience. It's just projecting your unprocessed pain onto a segment of people. And it's not no one's experienced, like all women or all men doing something, right? Nobody's had that experience. But there are belief systems that, all fill in the blank, are a threat and will harm me, will do this because. And that's usually, and if we're around people like that, and we're sensitives, that hits our body even harder because now it's going into the collective and just kind of aiming, just giving that much more room for the pain to grow and bubble onto not an experience, right? Because it's not an experience someone can have, but onto this weaponized fear now, which can be very dangerous. Yes. So cool. It just makes me laugh. It's just This just reminds me of when things in a conversation turn, and you're like, well, and like I said, recently that happened, and it was not pleasant in the least. So it's not that it'll ever stop happening, ever, but let's move forward. So what do we got? Woohoo! All right. So we're getting another animal tarot card. Lovely. And look at this little stupid Pomeranian. So dumb. I'm a cat person, for whatever that means, right? I remember one dog I really loved. Like the first dog, I was like, oh my God. And it was a Pomeranian because it's basically a cat. But I love Redley Valentine is such beautifully sensitive decks. I love it. But so this is 9 of Summer, right? So yay, look, ooh, what's that? Ooh, it's making a wish. We're in spring now, I think. I mean, it goes from 80 to 30 degrees, so I think we're in spring. But Pomeranian, now it's time when your dreams come true. Don't worry about how this will happen. Just give gratitude to God for all that you have and all that is still yet to come. Look at all those freaking toys. Look at that. Look how happy that stupid little baby is. This is such a happy little puppy. Oh, it's so happy. Happy puppy. Yeah, so let's look ahead. Let's look ahead to summer. Well, I have not looked ahead to the astrology for summer, but let's just say that when we, instead of forecasting out fears and what could go wrong, okay, like we're just talking about, instead of forecasting out on that and thinking the worst is to come, right, and things are against us, let's think happiness. Look, this is and wishes come true. So not focusing on fear of the external, right, and how things are, how the external will change. Not fearing any kind of like harm that's going to come to us, pain that's going to come to us, um, pain like anything else in life. Pain happens, and there's no amount of bubble wrap or ritual or biggest heart in the world. It happens, it just happens. So just really the idea of giving gratitude. So I would say gratitude. What does that mean? Giving gratitude. If you have a gratitude practice of some kind, and it doesn't have to be gratitude to anyone specific, It could be gratitude to yourself. It could be gratitude, showing your body gratitude. It could be, doing gentle exercise. Um, it could be getting lots of rest. It could be staying hydrated. It could be listening to your instinct, or if you get in a fearful state, or if you're around someone who's really just, when they shut down, they are in, it's like catatonic fear. I think I went catatonic. Okay. For a second there. Just recognizing that that's not a state that you have to commune in, that you should be able to handle or be able to work in. Absolutely not. There is no requirement that says that you need to be fearful. And like I said, being in a state of happy puppy dog gratitude, whatever that means. Again, it can just be being nice to yourself. It could be making sure you get enough sun if you're like always working from home. Whatever that means to you. Let's see what Nicoletta Tarot is going to tell us now. Maybe we can get something like, all right, wishes come true, summer. What's going to happen if we just really go like, I'm advocating for myself. When I communicate, I'm not communicating on your behalf to fix the world. I'm already anchoring the light. I'm already love. Okay. All right. Well, check it out. All right. So we have the Knight of Cups. All right. So, all right. So this is so Knight of Cups. When I think of Knight of Cups, I do think of, again, like this idea of communication and kind of like a romance. But the Knight of Cups versus like the King of Cups. The King of Cups is wiser, more mature, less intense, and kind of like grabbing, someone grabbing your hand and like, we can fly, and like running you off a cliff. And you're like, yeah. And it's interesting because you notice I kind of see this ring with like the star, right? So I feel like there's kind of this container, right? There's a container for kind of communication that might be very watery, whether it's romantic or very emotional, very linked heart to heart communication. But seeing it here where it can be very watery, it can be kind of this even very optimistic and fresh feeling, but it's in this container. And the horse is not just running off. It's taking a time. It's got this. Here's like two people communicating. But at the end of the day, no matter how much one whips at the floor and the other moves, they're in this container of communication. They're not going to get out of this container. Okay. And the star makes me think of the star card, which is just this beautiful delivery and communication coming in, this constant stream of nourishment and communication. So I like that too, because it makes me think, even if there's like a sense of emotional wild abandon or something, there is this framework, this container that is available, is what I'm thinking. There's an availability to this container. There's an availability to this nourishment without having to do a little saw, throw the whip in right away. Okay. I'm going to draw another charm. Aww. I love this. I haven't gotten this in forever. My God. My little heart. My little sensitive heart. I swear to God. So I love this one. It's a clear heart. It's a pirate patch. I'm not sleep deprived. I'm just doing this late. Okay. Let's see. I really love the clear heart because the clear heart to me, again, this is clear communication. This is clear heart communication. This is clarity, okay, which is beautiful. Remember we started off in conflict, thinking about all this conflict coming in and talking with other people and, you know, how it can just be, it can really, really strike us in a way. And because we're so open, as empaths and sensitive people, there is this subtle awareness a lot of times in other people that is the reason they're drawn to us. And they know that we can sink and deepen and hold like this ocean of information, ocean of emotion. And when that's weaponized against us, when we feel when we get any kind of attack from another person, a lot of times, you know, it's just one more reason of why there's no apology. I think there's like almost like a sixth sense with some people of like, well, you can take it. And then I think that can really grow even under the surface into us believing, yeah, we're supposed to be able to take it. I don't believe that. I'm sure years and years and years ago, I probably believed that since I've been empathic since birth. But this is beautiful. So this is kind of like, especially if Mercury retrograde is bringing in some wildness, this lovely, for summer, this clear heart. So clear communication, clear open-hearted communication. Yes, awesome. Mercury retrograde is not a horrible thing. It's not a terrible thing. Retrograde, retro. It's a great time to go back and complete things you started. It's a very optimal time to do that. Today when I was shooting, starting this video, I had to, I need to do that. Oh, I need to do that. I had to kind of stop and start about 8 times before I started. But that's just the persistence of it. If you've been working on something for a while, it's a great time to finalize it. If you have a project that you want to finish and go back to, whatever a project means to you, whatever that is, it's a great time to do that. I feel like the odds are so in your favor if you go back and, bring something to fruition now. It's a brilliant time for that. I don't know you and your chart, but I'm just saying, generally speaking, about the retrograde. But it really, it's bringing in a lot right now. So I'm going to draw another Raleigh Valentine card, another animal tarot. I want to see a little more about this. Okay, I got this card again. All right, so let's go with it. I got this card again. And let's put this on the clear heart and communication. So here we go. Regardless of what language we speak, communication language, level of awareness, level of consciousness that we're at, this is showing clarity from the heart. Sometimes I can really just sense that other people are only capable of speaking at me, and that's okay. I try not to be in that as like a core relationship. And sometimes, you're just in a space to listen like that, or you're just in a space to kind of energetically lift the room. Um, and sometimes there is more of a give and take, but I like this just as the idea of bringing it back to the ability, the strength, the wisdom that you have as a sensitive, as an empathic person who is just in I always say I can feel what's in someone's soul. Like it's just the experiences that all these extrasensory experiences that are going on, they're just so core to my normal experience, right? Your normal experience um, are truly, are truly wonderful, are truly wonderful. I know there's a long a long path, like everyone has a long path of understanding um, these differences and understanding how to work with these differences. Most importantly, how to value these differences within yourself, but and value the needs of somebody who is empathic. Value the needs of somebody who is energetically sensitive versus societal needs, largely. But I love this because it's the this kind of wisdom, this kind of sensitive, empathic wisdom, this kind of psychic, intuitive, whatever you want to call it, wisdom. I mean, I think this again is just highlighting the importance of it in this card coming up again and highlighting the fact that, you know, the summer, the summer, the ability the ability is there to speak with a clear heart and communicate your wisdom, your light. Um, it's possible, even if externally you're not seeing it right away. Because though there's so much within you, within me. We still live on the earth and we're still walking around in this body and we notice the external. Of course we do. So to just keep in mind that, like, everything we're feeling and have knowledge of, um, that things are coming, even if we're not in a state of remembrance about them, intuitiveness about things coming in. Just knowing that the more that we put our clear communication out there, okay, we speak with a clear heart, um, then yay, happy pomegranate puppy time. That's what I'm seeing. So that is what I am seeing. And I think it's a lovely high note to end it on. I hope if you saw this and you've been through any kind of rocky or surprising communication lately, that this has been helpful. Again, you're sensitive, but doesn't mean you need to be walked over. It is not your job, and it's complete fucking bullshit for someone to want to tell you that you or your body or whatever it is about you is where their unprocessed pain needs to be held. It's complete shit. You are not here on this earth to hold other people's fears, to be blamed for other people's fears and unprocessed pain. I know you probably walk around and can feel so much of that. But we feel all of it. We do. And just know the more that you speak from your clear heart, advocate, whether it's verbally, straightforwardly advocating no in different ways, or removing yourself from situations, or setting boundaries verbally and physically. Whatever it is, whatever you need to do is perfect, because you do have this lovely, lovely wisdom to speak and share. And the people that need to hear it will hear it. The people who are anchoring the light need to hear it. The people who have not learned that they're not supposed to stick around until someone's done hurting and hurting them need to hear it. So yeah, I think this is just a really, the cards gave lovely reminders, and ending on this note of just really expressing and speaking from your clear heart, and just know that it's going to make a world of difference. You're planting those seeds. You're planting those seeds. Whether you're speaking to somebody shut down in fear, you're still planting those seeds in the quantum field. You're planting those seeds, and it makes a difference. And your light and your voice need to be seen and have a right to be seen. And it's your birthright. So lots of love. Hang in there. I hope that everybody gets all kinds of surprise Pomeranian dog surprises, whatever that means. I don't know. Maybe something strikes you in the colors or the imagery. Maybe maybe you need to get yourself a genie lamp. But until next time,